So what's the next element of art that you should be considering? Well, this one's really obvious. Colors, right? So these are the primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. They are called primary colors because they can be used to create other colors. So when you put yellow and red together, what do you get? When you get yellow and blue, what do you get? Blue and red, what do you get? You get secondary colors: orange, green, and purple. So these are called primary colors because if you add any other colors together, you cannot create red, yellow, or blue. That's why they're called primary. Okay, combining other colors will not give you any of these three. That's why they're primary colors. But you can create other colors using red, yellow, and blue. Okay. Now, there's different kinds of colors that we talk about. There's CMYK and RGB. So CMYK and RGB. Mainly CMYK is used for when you print things using ink. All right, if we're printing things in ink, then you should be in CMYK mode. So if you're in Photoshop and you know you're going to be printing something, you need to put your Photoshop file into CMYK mode. If you're just going to look at a photo on a digital screen or a monitor, then you should be in RGB mode. For example, videos, right? Videos should always be in RGB. You're never going to print an analog or print a video, so you should be in RGB mode. Okay, red, green, and blue. So red, green, and blue are the colors on the screen. Every pixel on the screen has a light source, and it can mix any combination of red, green, and blue. So RGB. CMYK, C stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is black. So with inks, you can combine inks in a certain way using cyan, magenta, yellow, and black to create other colors. Okay, so there's a difference here. Ink is a subtractive process, and RGB pixels, for example, are additive. So they add colors together. These are subtracting colors. So there's two different kinds of modes here. So please be aware of that. This is the color wheel. Here you have your primary colors, right? And when you add these two primary colors, you're going to get kind of a, when you add these two primary colors, you'll get purple. When you add these two, you get this orange. When you add these two, you get green. And then you have different amounts. If you have more blue and less yellow, you'll get this. When you have more yellow and less blue, you'll get this yellow, green, and etc. around. So this side, on the blue side, is what we call cool colors. So that's the general term with this kind of color: cool colors versus warm colors, more on the orange, yellow side, red side. So use those words when you talk about colors. There's complementary colors, analogous colors, and monochromatic. So complementary meaning across the color wheel, analogous meaning near each other on the color wheel, and monochromatic is basically different shades, different hues of one particular color. So there is a site called color.adobe.com, and I want to show that to you. Hang on. So here's color.adobe.com. What's great about this is that it actually helps you pick colors. So when you go there, you're going to have this color wheel, and you have one main picker thing. So this is the main color. See this little triangle and this little triangle, they kind of match up. So if I take this and I move it over here and choose a main color of green, then it's going to give me analogous colors that would work well together. Reds, these colors would work well together. If you want monochromatic, then you can just move your primary color, whatever you want as your main color, I should say, Then it'll give you different colors that are considered monochromatic. Here's the triad. If you want a triad of colors, right? Like this. So this is going to help you pick colors. Complementary. So what colors go good together? If your main color is this purple, then color will help you pick colors, other colors that would match very good with it. Compound, shades, basically the same color but different darknesses and lightnesses of it. And then you can create your own custom one. Pick this, do that. So whatever, I mean, you just play around with this stuff. And these are called hexadecimal numbers here. Each color has a specific mode to it, or hexadecimal code, and this is the colors that you could then put into Photoshop or Illustrator for your colors. If you want this particular color, here's the code you would use. All right, notice there's a color mode in RGB, and then there's CMYK mode. And then there's other modes, which we're not going to concern ourselves about, but basically that's how it goes, RGB and CMYK. Okay, so that's color.adobe.com. This is called the 3D color wheel. So notice as you go around the circle how the color changes, and notice how the color changes as you go vertically down the side, and how the color changes outwardly as you go away from the center. So around the circle, down through the middle, and out towards the edge. All right? So all of those have a different term, and these are the terms you should be using and when you talk about color. Hue. Hue is basically the names of different colors: red, green, blue, yellow, green. Okay, so that's the hue. The hue of the color. And that means when you're moving circularly around the center. So as you move around the center, that's the hue. Okay? Next, value. Value is how dark or light the color is. Okay? So if you look at the color wheel here, right? Here's some reds. This one is darker than that one, and this is lighter. So as you move vertically through the 3D wheel, you're talking about the value of color. So tint, another word used in art. The tint is when you add white, when you're adding white to the color to make it lighter. Shade is when you add black to the color, so that it makes it darker. So tint and shade are opposite of each other. And then we have value, which means darkness or lightness. Okay? Value scale. You can just add actual colors, or you can add cross hatching and hatching. So you can use not necessarily a solid color, but you can use lines to help you with this concept of making it darker or lighter. Same thing with stippling, dots. Right? You can add more dots and create this stippling look. Okay? Now, you can take a 2D shape and you can actually make it look like it's a 3D shape. So here we have what's called, well, here's your 2D shape, and if we add some lighting to it and some shading to it, all right, you can have this 3D sphere, even though it's a 2D object. So we have highlights, we have the shadow, and the actual form shadow here. So this is the form shadow and the cast shadow. Again, words that you should be using when you talk about art. Form shadow and cast shadow. So a third one with the color wheel is called saturation. Basically how intense the color is. It's the vibrancy of the color. So as you move away from the center, you move outwardly, we're talking about the saturation of the color, how vibrant it is. Okay? So colors, they have meaning. So in your head, what is the meaning of this color? What kind of meaning? So an example, red can mean love. It could mean energy. It could be a sail, passion, anger, hunger, immediacy, right now. That's what red can mean to some people. So in your head, what does this color mean? Cheerful, energetic, for example. Purple. This has always been like royalty to me. Somewhat mysterious, creative. So sadness, this bluish color. Calm, power, trust for me. What about green? The obvious one is eco-friendly, natural, balance. On the negative side is jealousy. What about this one? Orange. Thirsty. Happiness. Healthy. The point is that color can have different kinds of meaning, right? Choose your colors wisely because they mean different things. So, element of art number 3, color. It can be very, very powerful in many, many different ways. And the third one, the other element of art is value. So color and value, different elements of art.